Please welcome to the stage Ann Curry.
Hey, everybody. Good evening. So let's begin with hope, shall we? Yes. Yes, we live in an acrimonious time. Yes, we are bearing the weight of a surprising level of meanness in the world, including in the way people are even speaking to each other. And yes, it is easy to lose perspective and forget that all this is temporary. Just for a moment, let's step back and consider a wider, more truthful view of where we are in human history. When we think about how humans once behaved toward each other and what it means to be human today, it is possible to see that humankind is actually moving in a slow and painful climb towards empathy. 2 steps up, 1 step down, 3 steps up, 2 steps down. Not everywhere, not all at once, but in a persistent way that on a graph would show a trend line that is unmistakably rising. The trend is clear enough to indicate that unless something fundamental changes about human beings, we will likely keep moving toward empathy, not because of the pressure from the outside, but because of part of what we are on the inside. Even Darwin concluded that our strongest human instinct is our ability to sympathize with others. And indeed, the known science in study after study backs up the idea that our compassion causes our brains to light up. It makes us happier. It makes us healthier. It may even make us live a little longer. And there is even a study that says that kindness makes you more attractive to a potential mate, which would mean that you here tonight are a lot better looking than you think. It is understanding this, that we've evolved to want to care about each other, that helps us see why witnessing injustice can cause us to feel such heartbreak and outrage and move us to stand up even for people we have never even met. This intrinsic empathy deep within us has made me wonder if it is not humanity's greatest hope. I've seen it play out over and over again in the stories that we've told over the decades. People have called wanting to donate money to charities. One donated $1 million. They've called to donate medical care. A doctor performed a surgery for free. They've called to adopt a child. One actually adopted a child we profiled from the Central African Republic. They've called to demand that victims of violence are protected, even after a story we did in Congo, a place that not everyone can easily find on a map. To unleash this empathy that allows us to stand up for each other, we need to be well-informed. But being well-informed with the news takes such effort these days. One media writer says it has become an aerobic activity. And of course, it doesn't help that just one story is being reported over and over and over again. It is painful, truly, to think about what isn't being reported, given how important it is for the vulnerable to be heard. This crystallized for me while taking photographs in a refugee camp on the edge of the war in Darfur. I had just turned my back to the sun, and there facing me on this bright afternoon day was a crowd of children and adults, including in the middle of them, a boy dressed in torn rags, his face dirty, his eyes haunted. He looked at me against the light in my clean clothes, my crisp white shirt, my expensive camera in my hands, and he fell to his knees, stunned. I took the photo and then immediately felt ashamed, asking myself, how I could focus on a photo, no matter how powerful the image might be, when there in front of me was a child who needed help, who needed care. I went to him and did what I could, feeling awful because, of course, there wasn't much I could do. When one of the refugees said, "Thank you for taking our photo. Now, at least someone will know that we were here." Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel spoke up about the atrocities in Darfur, which is in Sudan, where military troops were sent in by Sudan's President Omar al-Bashir and were targeting Black African tribespeople, systematically attacking their villages, setting fire to their thatched roof homes, killing thousands and sending hundreds of thousands fleeing for their lives, men, women, and children. Elie Wiesel, who was sent to Auschwitz when he was 15, told me he had to speak up, quote, "because when we were there, nobody came. I learned that suffering confers no privilege. It's what we do with it. And what we do with our suffering is to prevent further suffering. And that is the moral message, if there is a message at all from that period, not to stand by." What might have been had it been possible to smuggle footage out of Auschwitz or Buchenwald or Dachau or the thousands of camps, death camps that the Nazis put together, and post it on social media in real time, or from the slave ships carrying people in chains to America, or from the massacre at Wounded Knee, or from a village being attacked by the Janjaweed in Darfur. What will we now do that it is possible to document with credible, verifiable, videotaped evidence the injustices in our time? I wonder if we are now on the cusp of shining a brighter light deeper into the dark, and whether this will hasten our rise toward this empathy we cannot deny. I hope. Don't you? Thank you.